Sorry to see Lembit OPEC losing his seat. Quite liked him because he manages to shag reasonably attractive women despite looking like a banana with Down syndrome. Peter Mandelson, this doesn't get said enough. He's gay and he's a lord. He's a gay lord. The British National Party tried to pretend they were a modern, progressive kind of a party, as you can read about in their manifesto. Holocaust, schmolocaust. You know the trouble with politicians? We're led by the least among us, the least in society, the least moral, the least noble. You know how there are jokes about Scottish people being mean, and we tell those jokes about Aberdonians? And there are jokes about Irish people being stupid, and Irish people tell those jokes about people from Kerry. Kerryman jokes. Down syndrome people tell Down syndrome jokes about Boris Johnson. Not very well, admittedly. Why did Boris Johnson cross the road? Fuck knows, I can't remember. When I was a wee boy growing up in Glasgow, I used to always think, what is it about people with Down syndrome that they're not allowed to go to the regular hairdressers? You can't come in, you've got Down syndrome, you've got to go to that guy 2 doors down that used to do the fucking Beatles. You won't look like the Beatles. Maybe Ringo. Maybe Ringo. I thought about it, and I thought it's because they've got older parents. Their parents are out of date. I thought, what's the worst part of that deal? Is it having Down syndrome or having parents who are 20 years behind the times? What did you get me for my birthday? A soda stream? Fuck you! I'm leaving home! Don't leave home, Sidon. You've only got a year to live. I feel I can talk about this because I do a lot of work for MenCap. Never ask for money. Always get paid in sex. If you can call it sex. And apparently the police are going to be calling it sex. So that's the whole routine I got all that trouble about, right? 3 jokes, which nobody's even heard. So anyone who's commented on that is basically saying, I'm absolutely outraged by whatever the fuck it was. To tell you what happened, the woman and her husband are sat at the front, but they're talking. So I tried to talk to him, but he wouldn't tell me his name or where he came from or what he did. So I started insisting that he was John Venables. I think that's where things started to go sour. And the tragic thing is, I'm quite a right-on kind of character. I never even use the word disabled. I always use the phrase differently abled. Because I see people with learning disabilities as just having different abilities. For example, the extra saliva means they can give an incredible blowjob. They can talk to you while they're doing it and not sound any different. That's an ability. We're going to have true equality with the learning disabled. We need to start fucking them. I've already started. I would always wear a wizard's hat when I'm doing it to confuse the description that they give to the police. I'm going to build this up so it's so ridiculous and so fucking cartoonish that people can tell it's a joke and I couldn't possibly mean it. Or I start to get a Down syndrome picket line, a learning disabled army of the damned turning up outside my shows on the wrong night, stopping the Chuckle Brothers from getting to do their fucking gig. I honestly just think we do have people in this country now who are just a bit fucking humourless, and they just don't know when you're joking. Is he joking, this comedian? Is this comedian joking up on the comedy stage at this comedy festival? Do you think he's fucking joking? You're joking, you stupid fucking cunt. You can't take everything seriously. If we'd taken everything my gran said seriously, she'd still be alive today. And then you meet these people who say, well, I believe in freedom of speech, I do, but you should ban certain words. You should ban words like retard and mongoloid. So I believe in freedom of speech, but you should ban some words and some jokes and some opinions. Now, if you meet anyone like that, it's important to say to them, you're right, we should never use the word retard to describe someone with a disability. We should never use the word mongoloid to describe someone with a disability. But we do need to hang on to those words to describe you, you retarded mongoloid fuck. I could use my powers for evil, you know. I could spend my time trying to think up derogatory words for lesbians or something. Fanny cannibals. There we go. Not hard. Doesn't make me homophobic. I fucking hate homophobia. It doesn't even make any sense. Gay people are a lot cooler than straight people. You ever see a gay guy on the golf course? Well, not during the daytime. Ricky Martin came out recently. That took a while, Ricky. He was so deep in the closet, he was bumming Mr. Tumnus in Narnia. Tell you my favourite thing I saw recently. I saw an article about how much Gordon Brown spends on makeup. He's wearing makeup. What would he look like without makeup? E.T.'s nutsack. Towards the end, he looked like a drugged-up cat that had had its face shaved at a party. Gordon Brown couldn't have won that election if he'd appeared on Britain's Got Talent, sang a note-perfect version of Cry Me a River, then pulled the still-living Madeleine McCann out of the jaws of a fucking shark. Did you see that thing where they aged Madeleine McCann, that photo? What kind of a society are we that does makeovers on missing children? Well, this is what she'd look like if she was 6 in Africa, and it's quite realistic, because in the background you could see a wee Primark sewing machine. Kids putting fake pubes onto bikini bottoms. I did a show in Glasgow a couple of years ago, and we have some refugees in. I did a show at the Glasgow Comedy Festival, and my mum wanted me to get tickets for this couple that I fucking hate. So I put 2 tickets in the box office, but for a laugh, I put them under the names Kate and Jerry McCann. I told my pal that I was doing it, and he went, "You should have left 3 tickets." He'll be devastated by that, Jerry McCann, won't he? He'll be devastated, Jerry McCann. But there'll be a tiny part of him that'll be thinking, I could put a pool table in that room. And that's finally too much. Okay. Yeah. I'll lighten things up a bit. A wee jokey joke. Let's see if that lightens up. Everyone likes a wee jokey joke. Here we go. When I was a wee boy, I had a dream that I was eating a giant marshmallow. And when I woke up, I was being sexually abused. What do Japanese people call their Japs eye? My eye? You know how when you go to the supermarket and you buy a carrot, there's always a moment, isn't there, when the assistant looks at you thinking, he's going to stick that carrot up his arse. He's going to go home and stick that carrot up his arse and run about clucking like a chicken. That's why when you go to the supermarket, buy 2 carrots. You could always eat one of them. You can eat roadkill, have you seen that? My pal got me a recipe book for roadkill, so I got some roadkill, followed one of the recipes. Absolutely delicious. Still don't know what to do with his bike. He's worried about the recession. I like the new advert for the Halifax. It's just Howard hanging himself in a bathroom. Do you know what's going to be good in the recession? That programme, Grand Designs. An hour-long show where we watch a family with a budget of £12 decide which colour to paint the door. I honestly think we should have more strikes in this country, I really do. I like those French workers that kidnapped their boss in an adhesive factory. They didn't even use adhesive to keep him there, the dozy bastards. They tied him up. That's like having a job in a mortuary and going home to make love to your wife. Labour just did too much weird shit to get re-elected, didn't they? Third runway at Heathrow they wanted, to turn Britain into a hub airport where the average stay would be an hour. And the only reason anyone would visit Britain ever again would be the reason that most of us would visit a McDonald's, to take a big shit and then fuck off again. They wanted to get asylum seekers to pass a GCSE in English. They're claiming asylum, you sick bastards. No, I think you'll find it's my family and I will be murdered if we return to the Sudan. Fuck off. ID cards, how is that going to work? How are you going to fingerprint everybody in Norfolk? Take 2,000 years for their fucking hooves to evolve. Scotland has a lot more shit places than you. Don't worry about that, man, right? There's a reason the Romans came across the world, conquering and civilising, conquering and civilising, conquering and civilising, got to Scotland and said, build a wall. There's a town near Glasgow called Coatbridge, which I can sum up in one beautiful detail. There's one restaurant in the town, a Chinese takeaway, which is called Bon Appetit. How'd you get a lassie from Coatbridge pregnant? Spunk in the gutter and let the flies do the work. There was a survey out the other day said 50% of Scottish people know a junkie. The rest of us have no contact with our dad. My pal told me a great Scottish story. My pal's a magician. He does magic at weddings. He did a wedding recently where the groom wore a kilt, and for the photos, he sat on the bride's knee and left a skid mark on her dress. They can't turn that into an episode of the Daz Doorstep Challenge.